Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're pleased to have Steve and Stephanie Farrell here to speak about wedding photography.
Wow, beautiful pictures.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe Susie can hold one of these up.
Steve's gorgeous.
Steve's a local graphic designer as well as a photographer, so you kind of got the whole artistic thing rolling at a couple different angles.
There's a lot of overlap between photography and graphics. So yeah.
Sure.
Now, did this start out as a hobby, Steve?
You know, I've been taking pictures my whole life since high school, and I would say that business photography has been most of my life, and I've done a few weddings, but all of a sudden in the last few years, weddings have changed. I mean, it's amazing. People want creative stuff. And,
right.
And it's all of a sudden I looked at it and I go, man, this is fun. You know, it's no longer just, you know, line them up and shoot them. And now you can get creative. They're looking for magazine style quality. They're looking for innovation. They're willing to do things that they never would have done 10 years ago.
And I think it's really cute because when you look back on your pictures, it's not like the same thing, like everybody standing at the altar with the bouquet.
It's totally different.
Right,
yeah.
And you know,
Everything's different.
What you're saying is so important, and this is what people need to understand, is a lot of times you're going through that day in a whirlwind, and it's over, and you're like, wait, I missed my wedding.
Right.
So the goal of a professional photographer is to tell your story in photography. And if you think about those pictures way back when, you may not remember that moment, but when you see the picture, that memory comes flashing back.
Absolutely.
And these days, people are so used to using their phones that they're not going to have printable pictures to put in albums and share. And so you don't want to risk that special day with just cameras on phones and friends that don't know that they're going to tell the whole story and not miss the most important shots. You want a professional to come in.
And even if you turn around and you have the whole thing videoed, there's nothing like these pictures.
Oh, no.
Because these can go on the wall, and like if you've had a little set to, you go down the hall, you see this picture, it's important, you think, you know what, this is what's important. And I'm all for the
There's
pictures.
some cool new trends, too, I was going to share. One of the things is we really like to get to know the couples before we shoot them, and they become our friends. We really care, and so it's like we're like guests at their weddings. We're just taking pictures,
and that's the way it should be.
But there's this new trend with engagement pictures that look like something you'd see in a magazine. It's not just we're getting engaged, we're standing here smiling hi.
Right.
It's like we've got a couple on a motorcycle because he's got a Harley. You know, another fellow's a pilot. We have him in front of an airplane. Whatever you've got these, and then the other trend is after the wedding. They call it trash the dress. So you get dressed up in your gear, your wedding dress, and he's wearing his, and you might do something fun. You might be in a tree or in the ocean or whatever your thing is, and it's very fun and real creative. And some of these were after. So this art photography would be an after the wedding
beautiful
thing. Just capturing that moment. And another one is, and this is a huge trend to me because I'm old school. Being in our 50s, we have a different generation.
Absolutely.
But one of the new trends that I love is having the first look twice, is what I call it. So you have that moment when the groom spots the bride for the first time. She's coming down the aisle, and it's an emotional moment. Well, we're having that twice because we have them come and see each other before the ceremony. We spend a little bit of time having them see each other, and then we take some pictures. Then we line up everybody. We take their pictures. We get a lot of those pictures done
out of the way
before the ceremony, and then they don't have this stressed out feeling throughout that evening. I've got to go to the party. I've got to go to the No, you got to take pictures. What are you going to choose? So those are a new trend that I just think is awesome, and it's just no more of that. What's superstition? I mean, that's crazy. You can't see the bride before that. Yes, you can. It's not a big deal.
Right.
You'll still be fine.
You're 100% correct, Steve. What is the hardest thing to get a couple to do in posing or whatever? Because sometimes you just can't get it. They're just not with the program.
I think really what happens is that everybody's going 1,000 miles an hour, and they're all thinking about different things at all times. So as a photographer, you have to be the shepherd. And you just, in some cases, you just have to tell them, sit there, look here, nose up, nose right, let's check the light. And then all of a sudden, bang, you get the picture because that's what they're paying you for. They're paying you to come into a situation that can be full of emotion, full of uncertainty, things go wrong, and what you have to do is know in advance that these shots I have to get, and then they're relying on you, just like the guy that bakes a cake, to put out a perfect product.
Sure,
he's a very calming influence too, and that
That
hairy
helps.
time. He's super
That
calming.
helps.
Let me ask you this, Steve. As an artist, does it help you? And you know, I'm sure you plan different things, different stage setups for the shots. But I'm sure there's that one time when something just pops into your mind right then, and that's probably an asset that you have as an artist that you can, you know,
Yeah.
put that into the photo. And it's, you know, there's always the ones that, well, we want this, and we want this
Right,
shot, and we
right.
want one of these. But then you know, on the professional and an artistic end for you, you say, you know, something happens and the light pops through, and you say, hey, hold on a second,
This
I
was
did this
that
one
picture.
here.
This was
Exactly.
that
So I
picture.
can I
This
see that
was-
in your shots that
No one wanted
it
to do
happened
this.
right then,
Yeah,
and you
that's
saw it, and you said,
beautiful.
here it is right here, and you got something that people weren't necessarily expecting they were going to end up with, but you know, we're
Exactly.
pleased to get it in the end.
Exactly,
Yes.
and I know you, as a photographer, experience that yourself. I think one of the interesting things is, quite often we're driving someplace and Stephanie will say, well, what's your plan? I said, well, I don't know. We'll get there and we'll see what the lighting is,
Yeah.
what the situation is, and then we'll ascertain what the best thing we can do at that particular time is.
If someone wants to get a hold of you, because people are starting to book things now for the summer, where can they get a hold of you?
We're at farrellphotography.net, and that's FARRELL photography.net, and
Okay.
my phone number is 293-4254, and I'll hook you up with Steve.
Great.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to run to an ad. We're going to be back with the closing of the show. Stick with us.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.